So I've been thinking a lot about technology and phones and things.
Do you like them?
Not really. I kind of miss the days when the only pop-up notifications that I got were from my toaster.
God damn.
Oh, that was funny.
They're called toast notifications.
It's alright. It's alright. Hello and welcome to episode 22 of the Pomcast. I'm Jared.
And I'm a piece of toast called David.
Yes, I have David the Toast.
Stephen Toast.
Stephen Toast. Morning, Toast.
What?
Oh.
Morning, Ed.
There we go. That's what we wanted. We mentioned Matt Berry last week, didn't we?
Yeah. If anyone hasn't seen Toast of London, the Matt Berry's BBC 4, I want to say.
BBC 4.
That sounds like a BBC 4
It's either BBC
show.
4 or Channel 5. Or Channel 5. I'm not really sure.
Anyway, Toast of London.
Just go and watch it. It's brilliant fun.
I think it's on Netflix.
I think it is. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think so. Do it.
I'll just ask. David's got ways of getting things. Please tell me we're not going to talk about wrestling.
What? I don't know anything about wrestling.
Oh, good, because I don't either. The only thing I know is that sort of little ditty is from John Cena's entrance music. That's all I know. I have watched NerdCube's videos on wrestling in the past, and I just have it as background noise. I have no idea what he's talking about. I have no care or interest. I just don't know. It's never been anything. Like, it's something that just hasn't interested me in the past, and it never will, I don't think. It looks too staged and fake.
Well, everyone knows that. It's a performance. It's a show.
It's not a show that I
It's not
get
like
entertainment
UFC, where they just punch the shit out of each other, and sometimes it's just, he's actually dying.
Yeah. I still can't believe that that's able to be broadcast. Whether you pay for it or not, it shouldn't be broadcast in my mind. That's just, it's barbaric and animalistic and wrong.
It's funny how they just broadcast this like horrific violence and then like, oh, you can't show a penis going into a vagina. That's just not, you can't do it.
No, but you can show breasts on public television.
You can show breasts.
And
you can show...
And bare ass.
You can show genitals depending on the show. Like Game of Thrones just has penises casually. Not erect penises.
I was about to say, I think...
Just a nice flaccid penis.
I don't know how we've gotten onto this topic, but I
as
think
someone's walking past.
I think there is a rule somewhere in broadcasting legislation or rating legislation that if a penis can be shown on screen if only if it's flaccid, it can't be erect.
I've seen an erect penis in a movie.
Yeah, but I suppose a movie's a bit different thing from a television show, though. Like, they have different... Well, they don't have different classifications, but they have a different set of standards and rules. Because you can control a movie a little bit more than a television show to a certain extent. But then...
Only at the box office.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
And then again, you can just be like, this is my mum.
But... Hey. Why would you not say that's your dad?
Because it's obviously some female troll.
Hey.
They have very similar voices. It's hard to tell the difference.
We were friends with somebody that sounded like a female troll.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Hey. Hey.
My name's Stacey.
I work with someone called Stacey, and now I'm not going to look at it the same again.
Because she's a troll.
Anyway, moving on from that. That was a weird little tangent of conversation. Not that we really have a lot to speak about this week, because...
Gallop. They don't know that.
Well, they do now.
Bye.
Bye. Gallop away. Well, this week I've again spent an awful lot of time at work.
Again or again?
Again?
How many? Just A.
A
the
game.
singular.
A game. however many weeks running, I've been at work quite a lot, and I am
7.
I'm in day 3 of 6 in a row. I've had 1 day off, to which I slept for 2.5 hours through the middle of the day. And then the first day, like this weekend, Thursday through to Sunday, I'm in France, and then I get back... No, Thursday through to Monday. Yeah, Thursday through to Monday I'm in France. Forgot a day. And then I'm straight back into work again for 6 days. So I don't really get much of a weekend. So I'm always a bit... At the moment, I'm running quite behind. And it's only because I need the money to do the travel thing. Like, living my youth and... Well, No, there's no youth left in me. But, yeah. Doing the work thing to pay for the other thing, and then forgetting that we're... Well, not forgetting, but... Not doing anything to bring up podcast content. So I've had to quickly cobble something together. Yeah. Cobble gen in Minecraft. That's where my brain was going.
Great.
Anyway, so the first, I'm ignoring politics because last week I went on a 15-minute rant about marriage equality.
Oh, I didn't notice.
No, I probably didn't. And not a lot of people have probably listened to it, to be honest.
Who?
But I'm avoiding that because...
like 8 on YouTube.
Oh, that's good. Politics is completely nutty at the moment, and I'm just trying to avoid it. So I've turned my attention to car news because there's a lot of good things coming out at the moment in regards to automotive progression. One of them is that Mazda have announced an engine that they're going to be putting into production by 2019, and then the other day put a patent out for another new engine design. Now, the first engine design... if you know anything about engines, you'll know that there is a difference between how diesel and petrol ignite and how they do the blammo thing to move the car along.
Combustion?
Yeah, but some people might not know that word. From what I've learned...
I'm pretty sure they know it's a combustion engine.
Yeah, but I'm currently living in a city where they don't even know what the word presumptuous means or what the word conversation actually mean. Well, I don't converse with these people, they just yell at me at work, but
amongst other things,
they don't understand words, so I have to make things simple.
Yeah, but then they just get angry.
I know, because you think they think that I'm patronizing them, but they don't even know what the word patronizing means, so then they get angrier because they don't understand they're feeling. Yeah. Very odd. But anyway, combustion engines work differently for the different types of fuel. Petrol engines have a spark plug which ignites the air and fuel mixture.
And it goes...
Yep.
Pushing the piston upwards, thus.
Downwards.
Upwards.
And then you get diesel engines which don't have a spark plug because they work on heat and the force of the piston coming up to cause the explosion between the diesel and the air mix. So they don't have a spark plug because they work on high compression rating and spontaneous combustion. Now, what Mazda have done to cut emissions from their engines, they've introduced the Skyactiv X engine, which it's a petrol engine, and it starts off with fuel and air going into the cylinder and being ignited by a spark plug. But then when the engine heats up, it then removes the spark plug from play, and because it's such a high compression engine, it then acts like a diesel, so the petrol and air mix spontaneously combusts without the help of a spark.
Oh no.
So what they've designed is an engine that will, because of the nature of it, because there will be less soot from the electric spark and how high the compression is, it will use all of the fuel. There will be less CO2 emissions coming out of the exhaust pipe, which I think is fantastic. They're still refining something that is now, that as an idea is now over a century old. I think the first internal combustion engine was about 1860 or something, so it's over 150 years old if my knowledge of that is correct.
Buy it.
So they're still actively making engines better. So, and the other engine they've done has 2 turbochargers on it, which is forced air going into the engine, and then a supercharger, which is electrically operated, it just makes the engine more responsive, it makes it smoother, And because the air, it helps the compression, which then, when the air is mixed with the fuel, it's a better mix. It's a more solid mix. And because of the compression of the engine, it's a cleaner burning car. So that it uses less fuel, it produces less CO2. Which I think is great.
If only hydrogen was easier to contain and get, then we could just have a car, right? Because you use a hydrogen engine, and you put the hydrogen in, then you make some electricity, and you just get water outside, and then you could mix the water with some detergent, so out the exhaust just comes bubbles. And that'd be the only emission.
That would be
just
cool.
Bubbles. Not filled with gases.
Yeah.
Just water and soap.
So the thing is, we proved that works. Honda had proved that works. Toyota had proved that works. You could, if it was slightly safer, you could use hydrogen fuel in a combustion engine.
But it just blows up.
Yes, it is possible to do it though.
It's quite volatile.
Now,
volatile chemicals.
Yeah. The problem is hydrogen is very difficult to remove from it's attached to other things in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's attached to
a lot of things. Water. Yeah, that's it.
It's attached to oxygen. Because H2O. So hydrogen to an oxygen makes water.
Sure, yeah, okay.
But it's very difficult to separate the oxygen from the hydrogen and then contain it.
Yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't like being contained.
No.
And go boom.
Yeah, but you can use hydrogen to create electricity, which...
That's a hydrogen bomb.
Yes. But hydrogen... And I think it was Toyota or... it was Honda. It was definitely Honda. That created a car that when you filled it with hydrogen, it had a little generator that then fed the electric motor which drove the car. And with a full tank of hydrogen, it could get about 700 kilometers, which is what you expect now from a car.
Yeah.
So there's not much difference. It's just that nobody wants to invest in the infrastructure and the technology to then separate hydrogen from oxygen.
Because it'll blow up.
Yes, but so can fuel, though. So can petrol and diesel.
This will blow up more.
Yes, it will, but... Then again, at the same time, if cars didn't exist, if an internal combustion car didn't exist today, and we were still, I don't even know how we'd be getting around, horses or something.
Ride a horse bike.
Yeah.
A horse with extra limbs.
Yeah. If somebody had suggested now, in the days of occupational health and safety legislation and fucking bullshit laws...
Be driving around steam engines.
No, we wouldn't even... If the car didn't exist as an idea and somebody pitched it and said, I've got an idea, we create a metal box that somebody controls. It's got 4 wheels and you can hurtle down the road doing 100 kilometers an hour. And everybody would sit in the room and look at them and go, you're a wanker. That is so unsafe. Don't do that. That is what they would say. I don't believe that...
I'm excited.
Yeah. I don't believe that anybody, any government body would say, yeah, that's fine. Because the car came before the legislation. The car was invented and then governments adapted to it.
Well, the car and then the world built around the car.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, this is actually not great, but we can't go back now. Lol.
Yeah.
Don't crash. Shit.
See, the thing is, though, I still maintain that people aren't taught how to drive them. But then again...
Unless you're in ice? No.
Finland. In Finland, they teach you how to drift. You have to do a set amount of time on a dirt and skid pan before you can get your license.
Otherwise, you will die.
Yes. Because like New Zealand, a lot of their roads are gravel and they have half of the year where it's daytime and then half the year where it's nighttime.
And you will die.
Yeah. Finland's a weird place. They eat a lot of fish and potato.
Fermented herring?
No, that's Sweden.
You can eat fermented herring wherever you want.
No. There's laws against that.
Is there? Under which governing body?
Probably the UN.
The ocean. The UN. Why are they having meetings about...
No, I don't know. Because they can't be bothered talking to Trump, so they're having meetings about fermented herring to wait until he gets impeached. Oh no, shit, I brought up politics. No, stop. Stop. Anyway, have you got anything to talk about this week, or are you going to bring up impeachment?
What? I don't even know who you... Do you like math?
Oh God, if it's math related, you can go on, but I'm just going to sit here and open my mouth and let flies go in because I won't understand.
No, do you like math?
No.
Why don't you like math?
Because I concentrated on other areas, on other fields of study, and math slipped by the wayside.
Because you didn't have a use for it.
No, I made my math teacher teach me how to calculate tax and taxable income and how interest worked on bank accounts and loans, and then I stopped going to math class.
So that's basically as much math as you'll use in your career or lifestyle.
Yes, and that's all I use it for, and that's where I stopped doing math.
Because it just has no impact on your life. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But, like, math, the way they teach math in school is weird. Because they don't really give you examples. Well, the examples that they give you are wildly just stupid, and you know they're fake, even though, like, you'll use it for calculating the velocity of a ball if it flies. It's like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. When would I ever need... No.
Brad has 17 watermelons.
I mean, that makes sense. You definitely need to know how many of something people have.
And Casey has 700 bottles of lemonade.
But beyond, like...
Add them together and then throw them at a train and give us the calculation of what Amy weighs.
Wait, have we got into philosophy here?
I'm sure that there's some sort of philosophical bent, but I'm sure
which
that
way is the track of the train, and you run over several children. It's like, obviously...
How do you get Amy to weigh herself to figure it out?
Who?
Like, it I don't know. That's the kind of math questions I remember from year 9.
Yeah.
Stupid shit like that.
It's because they don't bother to build an interest in why you would want to know math.
Nope. I definitely wasn't given
weird.
Interest
Like, if you're doing programming, it makes total sense when you go to a math class and they're like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh yeah, I could use that in programming. And everyone else is like, what the fuck am I going to use this for?
Yeah.
So they don't give you, there's no, what's the thing I'm looking for here?
There's
motivation.
There's no motivation, and they don't make any connection to any other subject.
Yeah. It's like, what was the analogy I heard the other day? Something about cooking. I've forgotten now.
Yeah.
I blanked it.
It's very obvious that you've forgotten.
No.
But I get where you're coming from, that they don't foster an interest in math linking to other subjects. I was very fortunate in my high school years to have a music teacher, an English teacher, and a history teacher.
Music! That's what it was.
Oh, really?
The analogy to music. So let's say in math, in music, if you didn't get to hear music, and they taught you how to read music, how to read notes on a page.
Yeah.
Taught you all the theory of music, but you never actually heard music until you got to university or senior school. You'd have, like, no interest, would you? You'd be like, what the fuck are these notes here? It's like, here's the fundamental of music, and you understand music theory, and you understand all that, you'd be like, but I haven't heard them use.
I was about to say,
what does it mean?
Yeah,
when do I use this?
If that was the way, like, probably the only people that would then follow up with it are probably people like me that look at a score of music, a big... what the conductor looks at when they're standing in front of an orchestra with every person's part. I look at it how it ebbs and flows and follows. I think there's an aesthetic beauty in that, but I wouldn't know how. If I didn't know how it would sound,
never heard it, if they never showed you the application of it, you'd be like, what the hell? And that's the way they teach math. It's like, here's a plus sign. Here's how you do quadratic problems. You're like, this is just functions and why. It's like, but if you apply that, you can apply so much of that to programming. So if they go, here, we're going to program some graphics thing, and then you'd be like, oh, this is really cool. It's like, how do I do this? And then it's like, oh, you can use this math thing. It's like, oh, that's math. seems kind of useful. Oh, look, I made a thing explode, and it's a square. It's made out of math.
See,
And you'd be like, well, that's cool.
I won't disagree with you in any way, shape, or form, because I don't understand how programming works. I know that there is a lot of math involved, and because of what I focused on in school and what I took an interest in, I will never be up to speed with what you do on your laptop, what so many other people do, and what they have created for the world on computers. I'll never understand that. But I do so applaud your commitment to it, because I'm not going to be able to learn that now. What I'm going to be able to do is use an older language, which is English, and try and use that to the best of my ability. And
that's another analogy you could make. It's like learning all grammatical rules and stuff, but never writing a story.
God, that would be dull.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the education system of math is like. They don't.
I would argue though that is the education system on a whole, though, because
to a point, especially with math.
To a point, and yes, especially with math. But every subject now, through your high school and your formative years, when they're telling you that getting good grades is important, don't worry about. What you enjoy.
It's not important for. It's not about learning.
No, it's about passing a test and getting a score. That's what
it's about
the education system wants.
Commitment and.
Well, it's not even really about commitment. I managed to get a 69 point. I think it was 9.5 or something in my ATAR, which meant.
I think that's what I got as well.
69.5. Yeah, 69.5.
Yeah.
Yes!
I think we got the same ATAR. I'm going to touch your hand.
Yes. Gently high five, because we don't want to create a peak in the sound. But which means that in our respective years in year 12,
Yarp,
which was 2011 and 2012.
Hello.
We were, by the end of the year, apparently better than 69% of our cohort.
And I failed English.
I failed philosophy.
You failed philosophy?
No, sorry. I failed classical studies. Philosophy, I scraped my ass across the edge and got a 25, which is a pass for us.
Yeah, I got a 21 in English.
I got a 23 in classics.
Because they trolled you in English language. Because in year 11, it was basically the science of language and learning, and that was really interesting. I got like A's.
Yeah.
I got an A. I was like, that's the first A I've ever gotten in an English subject. This is really cool. And then in year 12, it was like, what's identity? Like, what? What has that got to do with...
See, I got... My best ever mark in year 12 was a creative writing thing for literature, at which I got 99 out of 100 for, because apparently you can't have an atmosphere of coffee. But anyway, that was my best mark. I got an A+. The problem is and how that works. My raw score was something like 34 or 35, and it got marked down because of the wonders of bell curves.
Yeah, boy.
Pretty much what we were told throughout what I was told, apart from a couple of teachers that I took a real like to because they had such a passion for what they did and what they knew, was that it was about passing a test. And as I was about to say before I managed to jog your memory about that what was it?
I don't know now. The analogy.
Thank you. I forgot the word. Jogged your memory about that analogy was I was really lucky in high school to have a music teacher, a history teacher, and an English teacher, which were so passionate about their subjects and really helpful for in guiding me down the path of going into history and English and focusing so much on music as a hobby, that I was able to link those things together. History and English I combine, and I adore reading history novels and things like that. I like writing about history. Well, I sort of lost that a little bit because of university, but that's a different story. And music I join with my writing, and I like reading about it and learning more and more about all three subjects. But in the case of math, I had quite poor teachers. It's not that they didn't have the ability, it's just they weren't really cut out for teaching. So it's sort of...
The course material doesn't help.
No, the course material didn't help. I couldn't see the value of X, literally, or philosophically, or relatively. I couldn't understand the point of me needing to find out what...
Don't you want to find the radius of a circle?
No.
Do you know what that is? It's pi r squared for anyone out there who wants to know what the radius of a circle is. That's not pi r squared. That's not the radius.
I was about to say, I don't think
Wait,
that...
r is the radius.
R is, yeah.
And the area of a circle is pi r squared. There you go. Just a pi r squared for the area.
David getting math wrong and then getting math right.
Yeah.
So I didn't have somebody that taught me that math was everywhere. And I know that it is, but at the same time
Sorry.
It doesn't interest me at all.
Which makes sense.
As I said, I sat down with my teacher over lunch one day and I said, how does income tax work? How do loans work? Interest rates on loans? And how does, what was the other thing?
Cat.
Something else to do with money. Beep. Oh, how does rolling loans, like rolling interest work on year to year? And he taught me all of those things, and then I quite literally sat in his class and read for the rest of the year because I did what was necessary to pass the subject, make it look like I was doing the work, and that was it.
Well done.
Anyway, was there a particular reason why you brought that up, or was it just a 10-minute rant about math not making people interested in it?
Well, yeah, I thought that was fairly interesting.
It is. It's a little bit sad, to be honest.
Yeah. It's just like, you get the thing, but you don't hear the music. You're like, oh. Till later on, and some people are like, it all makes sense now. And other people are like, Jesus Christ, why didn't they teach me this earlier?
See, I don't know, the thing that I would find funny is that in the same thing with music, I can now look at a score after, 14 years of learning music. I can now look at a full score in front of a band and know what it's going to sound like before they even play it. And that's from the experience of playing the instrument and knowing how music works on a page. And I can now hear that in my head before they go on to play it.
A goose.
But if you hadn't heard music before, that would just be crap.
Yeah. You're like
really
learning
crap.
All this stuff, you'd be like, why the fuck am I learning this? This is not interesting at all. Same
thing with phys ed though, but how do they grade you on physical education? It is the participation award subject. That's all it is.
I mean, they can teach you about health. I mean, it's called health. But health and PE.
No, it was for Kangaroo Flat. It was health and physical education. They were two separate subjects.
Oh, okay.
They were two separate things. And I
think they were one at Flora Hill.
How on earth they give you a fucking grade for playing cricket, I will not understand. It is a fucking con.
Cricket's a really boring sport.
Cricket is a boring sport.
I played it for like a few years when I was younger, and I was just like, why the fuck am I standing out here in the heat in this field? The ball's over there, and I can't even see it. It's small and red, and it hurts you if it hits you. I want to leave.
The only sport that I ever actually there were two sports that I put effort into when we played them at school, and that were netball and hockey. And I couldn't play either. Well, I couldn't play netball beyond primary school because apparently the boys are too vicious. I'm sorry, I had scratches from girls in netball in primary school. Netballers are fucking vicious, regardless of their gender.
Yeah.
And then hockey was fun, but I was shit at it. And that's because I was fat.
I played soccer because I got to run around. I didn't have to stand in a field. I don't like fields.
You really don't, do you?
I don't want to stand in a field.
But it's just... I don't know.
Well, that was half an hour already.
Yeah. Well, it's almost half an hour, considering you will be cutting out some of the start. Cause
what?
Did I break you with that joke? Was that...
What?
And we popped
this is toast. Like, that makes sense.
I really do miss the days of not having like I've switched off a lot of notifications, but I still have to have some on, and it's just, oh god. Like, I think I might actually sacrificially burn my phone when we get back to Australia.
I have notifications for pretty much just messages. It's kind of it, and then I just don't scroll through. Just don't go on news feeds.
Yeah,
because it's not important.
No.
If you don't have notifications, it's not important. And if you have too many notifications,
just delete it.
Just turn off the notifications.
The thing that annoys
me, then you're dead.
The thing that annoys me is though, Nokia have created they've reinvented the 3310. They've rebranded it and brought it back out again, and it's a simple phone. It's just a phone. It's something that you can text and call people on, which I think is fantastic. I would have bought one, but it only runs on the 2G network. The 2G network has been switched off in Australia, and is going to be switched off in a lot of other countries. Nokia, what was the point in bringing that thing out? What was the point?
Lol.
All it was there to do was to just sort of add a little...
Meme.
Well, it wasn't even a meme. It was there to give airtime to the rest of the phones they were releasing. Like the 5, 6, and 7 or whatever it is.
Meme.
It just annoys me.
Do anything else fun this week?
I almost got punched today.
That's good.
It's not those little shit at work. Anyway, that was fun. Oh, yeah, I probably can't talk about it, but there was almost a theft at work, and that was fairly entertaining to hear about.
Yeah. I went for a walk
on
Thursday.
Yeah, you walked like 56,000 miles, didn't you?
12, but close, yeah. It was fairly...
It's a rounding error.
But I managed to get sunburnt.
Oh, yeah!
I did it!
David has now joined the exclusive club, which I've been in since 2015 when I was in London the first time. We've been burned by the British sun.
Yeah, small area of my left bicep was a little bit pink the next morning.
I got burned all across the back of my neck and my forehead. And it was really quite red. I stood outside for 2 hours watching the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, and I got burned.
I was outside for a lot longer than that.
The sun was out for half an hour that day. And I got burned. It was ridiculous. But anyway.
Well done.
So next week, I'm in France. And David...
Hi.
Have you finished your thingy?
No, I haven't done anything on it. Because... well, I've just been... I got back into games programming, so I've just been... This week, I made space bowling.
Yeah.
It's bowling in space, and the pins explode. So, that was the last week for me.
Yeah.
Made space bowling.
So, if David does do it, watch this space. You're going to get a special little episode of something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be yet.
Yeah.
I'll just have to shift to get the shift.
I've got an idea of what I'm going to do when I get back from France.
Is it a poo?
Like, having to poo is a continuous thing in life, so there will probably be one at some point when I get back. But
just
not one continuous shit.
One continuous need to poo. I don't think really, but you don't actually need to poo, but you just got the feeling if you need to poo, and that's your...
That would be
that's your
annoying.
Bane. That's your bane of existence, just the feeling of needing to poo all the time. You're like, I need to poo. And you wouldn't want to do anything, because you're like, I need to poo.
I need to shit.
And that's...
Anyway, I have an idea of what I'm going to do as well. I'm hopefully going to get it finished whilst I'm in France, but that's okay. So watch this space. There will be no regular podcast next week.
It'll be an irregular podcast.
It'll be an irregular podcast.
With me, your host, Stephen Toast.
It will be in 7-8 time, and
can I have it in 14/7?
There aren't 7 notes.
If you make it fine, 14/8.
How would you like it grouped?
I don't know.
Well, you can have 2 groups of 7, or you can have
7.
A group of 3, a group of 4, a group of 3, a group of 4. You can have so many different ones. Group of 4, a group of 3, a group of 4, a group of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You can do that, or like where do you want the emphasis?
I don't have an answer.
All right, I'll figure it out then.
Great.
So, irregular podcast next week. So, bye. I'll see you in a fortnight.
Yay. Yeah.
Say goodbye to the people.
But goodbye, people. Goodbye. Where are you going? What? No.